Hey fairy grasshoppers, it's Bridgette. Good morning to you. I got my coffee, and this morning I'm going to share with you an example of my morning reading. You guys know that I do morning readings for myselves. Myselves. How many of myselves do I have? Me, myself, and I. And I use my journal and I write down some of my insights or things that trigger me that I need to work on for myself for to clear, or some positive dreamy stuff as well. So I work with Oghams. I spoke about these multiple times before. Oghams are these. This is a divination tool, often associated with the Celts, and I love that. I'm connected to my Celtic roots right now, my spiritual Celtic roots, that is my ancestry, in regards to other lifetime experiences. This one that you're looking at right now, this is just a kind of a travel version, I'd like to say, of an Ogham, just a small. I have another set that has long, larger sticks. These are parts of the trees. There are 20 in the Ogham, and each has a symbolization and meanings that connect to lots of different information and interpretation that you can access or connect to. But what you see on here, so this is considered a stave, S-T-A-V. And on here is a pict. This is a letter, or considered a symbol, or it can be considered a letter. And this one represents the fir, or for me, the pine trees, so the evergreens. And you guys know, if you watch any of my vlogs or have watched previously, that I love the evergreens. I have cedar trees in my backyard. I have evergreen trees. I just love them so much probably because they're able to maintain themselves throughout the cold, harsh winters we can have here sometimes in the Midwest. So, of course, I have been using my staves, the Ogham itself, since last fall of 2020, and it just is so grounding. I love the tree wisdom. So you can use these a lot of different ways. You can use these as letters and alphabets and poetry, and you can also use them as connection to the tree and an oracle, and that's how I use them, connection to the tree and the oracle. All right, so this morning, before I even started my Oghams, these are the Oghams I pulled today, I actually utilized my Divine Feminine deck, 13 Moon Oracle cards. This will be linked below. So if you like these and you want to get yourself a deck, this will be linked below. It's my Divine Feminine connection. I felt like that was the place to start today, just to pull one of those cards. And so this is the card I got. This represents the Great Mother, which is Mother Earth energy, or Gaia. To me, this is the ultimate nurturer, the ultimate strength, grace, energy. The very, very strong are the nurturing, the giving of the loving energy of the Divine Feminine. And so the Divine Mother, or the Great Mother, is connected to that. But this says empty. This is the womb space, the belly, the low belly. This is about going into meditation, going inside ourselves, going into contemplation. And this is exactly where I'm at today. It says empty, float, not known, spacious. So if you're contemplating something or working on something and you just can't find the answer and you're trying to force it, this is a great support. This particular tool of empty, or the cauldron, like deep in the body and the belly, just to allow the space or the room to just be with that energy, whatever is there, instead of trying to force an answer, force a solution, force an outcome. So this is quite appropriate this morning for me. I kind of feel this way. I feel like today is a day where I don't have any formal sessions, but I do have some things to do. I do have a session for myself. I have a counseling session today for myself, and then I also have a haircut. I enjoy my haircuts very, very much. So those two things are supporting of myself. So it makes sense that I would do self-care and taking care of myself emotionally and physically today with those two things. I think I'll do some yoga today as well to keep the energy flowing and moving. And I've kind of been in a pattern of, I don't know if waiting isn't exactly the right word, but I feel like it feels definitely like a summer vibe. Like when you were in school back in the grade school days, and when it came to summer, then everything was just loose and kind of open and flowing and a little ambiguous. I feel like that right now. And I know that there's a lot of work that will be unfolding a lot related, not a lot of work, a lot related to my work that's unfolding in the fall. And so allowing some of these creative aspects of what I'm making for you to come in and then share it is something that it's hard to wait, and it's hard to not get so excited about just a couple ideas and just go with it, but to really let the whole kind of all of the ideas come in and then put them together in a beautiful offer, like that. So I'm kind of in that place. I can't know everything, even though, yes, I know I'm a psychic. It doesn't work like that. So I'm just going to let this is peaceful energy. It's like calming, okay? Nice red root chakra energy. And grounding, very grounding. Okay, so I got this first. And then I pulled, this is my first stave, and I got this one yesterday as well. So this is the fir pine, like I mentioned. And it is such a strong, steady tree for me. Excuse me. Whew. Hello, allergy pills. Okay. This is such a strong and steady tree energy for me. It's always there no matter what. It's not going to change. It's very reliable. This is a trust energy, a tree of like a trusting energy for me. It brings me to this centered point of pure contact and connection, just really trusting the universe and feeling that support and protection under the canopy of the evergreens is just such an amazing vibe for me. So it really feels like strong and steady connection, where this feels divine feminine, this feels a little more divine masculine. I really resonate with this tree a lot, very much so, the attributes of it. And so this is very much a support and a balance, and then the quiet time underneath the canopy of the evergreens, just awesome. And I like how resilient they are. They're just always there, like when it's super blazing hot or when it's super chilled and the ice is just weighing down the branches. It's just there. It's taking care of what's underneath it. It's providing shelter, a home for the animals, and protection. I have so much respect for this energy. And it's very much like the cauldron in many assets, in many ways. So that's an interpretation for me. For you, the evergreen might mean something different. It might mean Christmas time or the holidays. It could mean camping. It could bring up some memories for you. And it could be memories of going to your grandparents' farm and the evergreens that lined the long driveway, or the apple orchards in the fall and the autumn. It could be just so many different things. A place you visited that had a ton of trees and just for miles, beautiful, gorgeous trees, that kind of a thing. So it could mean a lot of different things for you. So borrow my interpretation, that masculine energy that's trustworthy, that's holding that space, a little different than the divine feminine, but this canopy of energy over the top while we're dropping into the divine feminine within us. So see how this balances. This is just beautiful. When I got both of these, I'm like, oh, I'm so supported, and then the energy is calm. I'm not being asked. There's not a huge lot being asked of me today. Let's use my joy mug. This mug I've had for 100,000 years. It's been from, oh gosh, a girls' retreat weekend, I think like 15 years ago. Maybe not that long. It may have been only like 12 years ago. Splitting of the hairs. So I don't think you can't get these anymore, just so you know. But I thought joy was a good one for today. Nice pink energy. So then I got one more stave kind of popped out here. And this one I have not gotten. I mean, I work with these all the time and I rarely have gotten this one. The YWU. So I had to look this up. I thought, wow, this is so cool. So it's got like 5 kind of markings across it, and it's very balanced. It almost looks like a ladder, like it reminds me of a little kid's ladder on a playground. So and lots of little rungs on it, so like there's no gaps, no spacing, no falling, that kind of a thing. It feels like structured. Okay, structured. Again, I'm not used to this tree as much. This one I very much know, and so this one's kind of new. So I looked up the information in my Celtic Tree Oracle, which is also going to be linked below. That's what these cards are. These are the Celtic Tree Oracle deck, and I use them with the staves. These you buy separately. These I got off Etsy. So across the pond, of course. where the trees are native, so that's what I did. So I used this, so I will share with you some of the insights that came. First of all, one of the things that came about this particular tree is that it is a common tree in cemeteries because they live forever. They just are steadfast and always there. And also because of the location, also the energies are about the cycles of life, so the death and the rebirth cycles. But it also is peaceful energy, very calm. And the information that came in here, let's see. So I'll read you just a wee bit from the information in the guidebook here. Is about... Let's see. So it says that the yew lives for a very, very long time and will often be found in cemeteries of Great Britain. Oh, I love the United Kingdom. I can't wait to go someday. I've never been. They maintain the silence for the souls that have crossed the veil. With them, we move forward. We move toward winter and winter solstice as the yew marks the ending and the rebirth. This tree also stands for silence, contemplation, and meditation. They're also linked to the ideas of rebirth and reincarnation. Interesting, very interesting. And it also says that the yew, it brings us to the threshold that leads into the dead of winter and the long darkness before the night. There's a promise of regeneration here. The energy here is very much about, completion and what you're done with and what you're stepping into. It's not as much, I don't feel like this is about releasing. I'm going to tell you that right straight out today. Today, my interpretation of this, now remember, I don't work with this very often, so you might have a different one for you. Y-E-W is how you spell it. But I feel like this is an honoring of a cycle ending and a cycle beginning. Or it may very well be an overlapping of cycles where a new cycle is moving so much and getting so much momentum that they kind of pass the baton, like literally pass the baton to the next. And it feels seamless. It doesn't feel like a big bold statement or a huge vision or purpose or a declaration or a ceremony to end stuff and burn things. It doesn't feel like that. It's not dramatic. I hate to break it to you. If you like the drama, that's not what this is. Silence, contemplation goes with this, the cauldron, the divine feminine energy, and the sweet, trusting, sacred space that is held for us with that pine tree and support, by the way, too. I need to mention this with the pines or the evergreens. To me, they are like a circle of support. They are spirit guides. They are total guides. They have your back. They are always there. They are just really supportive. Like I mentioned, I have cedar trees in my backyard that are always watching over my family, and I just have such a connection to them. I've had it ever since I've moved in here. Very spiritual, very connected, soul family, spirit guides, trusting, supporting. So this feels like a opportunity to be with the energies here that are already provided and connected, presented to me. So I want you to take this in for yourself, and what does this mean for you? So this tree, again, Y-E-W, the yew tree. And it just might mean that maybe you've had a loss, a recent loss. Maybe you're grieving. And if you are grieving, you need both of these energies, the divine masculine, the divine feminine. You need the protection of the canopy and the support of your natural spirit guides, the loving energy of earth to support you. And you also need that deep knowing inside of you, that quiet, calm space. You might need rest. You might sleep more than you normally do. The energy right now, let me just say, as I'm recording this in July 2021, is a lot. There's a lot of stuff. So it would make sense that we would go underneath the canopy, tuck inside, not withdraw, not isolate, not withdrawal, not isolate, but care for ourselves in this beautiful womb space, in this gorgeous canopy of trees, taking a rest, being imbued with the natural elements, with nature, and just having this appreciation for the cycles, because the baton has been passed and you haven't had to, you've already done the running. It's like you've already done your leg of the race, so to speak, the relay. You've already done it. Now it's been passed. And so now it can sit here for a bit and you can rest. You can rest, you can contemplate, you can enjoy the sanctuary within you of silence, of quiet. Maybe you don't have to do anything right here, right now. Maybe you've already done it. Maybe you've already made your plans. Maybe you already have a plan in place. But guess what? You don't have to try to do anything new, reinvent the wheel. You don't have to push, pressure. You can coexist with your spiritual life and your human life. That's part of what this also shows us, the spiritual life. You as a spirit and your external life, those pine trees, the evergreens are everywhere, right? They're everywhere you go, for the most part. There might be some parts of the U.S. that don't have them, but it seems like seems like here to me, it seems like they're everywhere you go. And so they kind of represent this steadfast reality, real life. And so if you're going within and contemplating for a while, for 20 minutes in the morning before you go to work, nobody's going to be all ruffled in their feathers about it. And it doesn't matter if they were anyway, but they're not. My point is this life continues, and it's still going to be there for you when you take some time to contemplate, whether that be an afternoon lunch with your journal instead of with your coworker walking like you usually do. Instead, you're doing an afternoon with your journal, that kind of thing. So that's how this feels to me. But I do want to acknowledge, because I really feel somebody that's watching this has had a loss, and it feels like grief. And it could be a loved one, could be a beloved pet. They're the same to me. They're both loved ones. Let me be honest here. And so I'm sorry for the energy that you might feel that feels overwhelming. I'm sorry for the heaviness of the grief. And I want you to know that it's a natural cycle. And you will move through periods where it is heavy, and then there will be times where it'll be much, much lighter, and you will find joy again. You will find joy again, even if it's in a morning sip of hot tea that reminds you of your Nana or whatever it might be. You will find joy again. I promise you that. In those moments, there will be sweetness in the moments in between the tears. I promise you that. Nice. All right, my fairy grasshoppers. This is an example of how I start my day. Now I'm going to get out my handy dandy journal. These are also linked below. These are gorgeous journals, by the way. I love these. I love this brand. And so I encourage you to check out the journals that I've linked, because they are my favorites. The ones that I picked, there's many, many more that you can search and look on. If you use the link below, you can do that. And they're not expensive. They're like $15 or less on Amazon. Not expensive at all, and well worth it. They're lined as well, for those of you who appreciate lined. This one's a smaller one. I get this size, the smaller size, and then I get a bigger one too. So I have two that I'm working on at all times. Actually, right now I have three, because I have one just for my business too. But so this will be linked below, as well as the resources for the Celtic Tree Oracle, and also for the Divine Feminine deck. All right, so fairy grasshoppers, thank you so much for being here. I hope I've inspired your spirit today by sharing with you my oracle in the morning. What a great way to start the day. No matter when you find this, just know that this energy will support you and will love you through this day. And as always, I hope that I've inspired your spirit and filled you with some hope today, and encouraged you to just live your life, to be who you is, not who you ain't, as my friend Mark would say, from the afterlife. Red Turtle Bear, one of my mentors, he would say, he reminds me of the pine trees, the cedars especially. He would say, be who you is, not who you ain't. And here, or on my Above Life channel, we would say, it's your life, so live it. Just live it. Sometimes that means contemplation, quiet, stillness. Thanks for being here.